Hey guys, 2025 was a crazy market in West Lincoln and Smithville when it comes to real estate. We saw a lot of decline in some major metrics, showing that we've shifted from a seller's market into a buyer's market. I wanted to review with you 2025 stats for West Lincoln and Smithville in comparison with the rest of Niagara to see how they compare, as well as to just look at 2025 as a whole and to project what opportunities are there for buyers and sellers in 2026 in the real estate market for West Lincoln and Smithville. My name is David Hildebrand from Remax Escarpment, and I help people just like you move to West Lincoln and Smithville each and every week, and I'd love to help you as well. If you're interested in making a move, you can always call or text me at 905-353-5149, or you can email me at david@wstrealty.com. Also, if you like the content that's being put out here, please feel free to like and subscribe this channel as I'm putting out content regularly for West Lincoln and Smithville as it pertains to real estate. So as you can see here, we've got the median sales price for the area of West Lincoln, and we're going to start here right in January of 2025. So we can see that number was $640,000, and again, this is median sales price, not average. It takes the middle number that we saw for sales in West Lincoln, and we're just going to go through the year. We saw $640,000 at the beginning of the year, go up to $790,000, and then also work its way up in May all the way up to $965,000, which was in the heat of the spring market. Since May, we've seen quite a big decline in the real estate market as it pertains to sale prices, as we saw it go from $965,000 all the way down to $755,000 in just a matter of a couple of months, and then continuing on over to $746,000 all the way down in November to $620,000. So West Lincoln doesn't have a ton of sales, so the data does get skewed by the amount of sales that are happening, but this just shows an overall trend that since May, we've seen quite a decline with regards to sale prices in West Lincoln as a whole. And then in December, we actually saw a little bit of a bump up, which is not normal for this time of year, but that bumped the number back up to $752,000. But again, the number of sales is skewing that. The overall trend for the past 6 months has been a decline in pricing. So if we go over to new listings, this is the amount of new listings that are hitting the market. So we will start here again in January. So normally winter is very slow and not a lot of listings are coming on the market, just 12 listings in January. We see a regular spike here into March and April, getting all the way up to 31 in the heat of the spring market again. And then a normal typical lull is happening from May to August, where people are on holidays or starting their holidays. We've entered more of a summer market here, and then again a pickup with 30 new listings in September, which fall is normally the second most active market. And then again seeing that winter decline as we go down all the way to just 9 new listings in December. A lot of people take a break over the holidays, so that number is indicative of many years in the past as well, that December is regularly the lowest month in terms of new listings. So let's go to number of sales now for West Lincoln. Again, we'll start in January, and we can see that the number of sales has gone all over the place as it pertains to West Lincoln. So looking here at January, again, this will follow the same kind of trend that we see with new listings. Obviously, the more listings that are being listed, the higher chances that they're going to sell. So we started off at 10 and got all the way up to 21 in April, and then back down again in the summertime, all the way down to eight sales in August, and then back up again in September to 16 sales, 14 sales, and then we saw a big dip in November down to only 4 sales in West Lincoln, and then back up to 8 sales actually in December, which again is a little bit of an anomaly as it pertains to the year. Normally we see less sales in December because we get into holiday time, but there was a little bit of an uptick in the West Lincoln market in the month of December here. So days on market is an interesting number. We'll take, again, the median days on market. If we do average, the numbers stay relatively the same, but you can see that the chart does change. If we go to median here, days on market in the winter time at the start of the year, we're all the way up to 72 days on market. And then we saw a big decline overall in the spring market, things were selling relatively quickly and then started to creep up again. And we've just seen more of the bouncing ball effect, up then down, then up then down, which again, because of the number of sales that are happening at this time of year, if something sells very quickly, that's going to change the days on market pretty drastically. And then again, days on market went up in December to 31 days on market. So as we look at 2025 as a whole with regards to the number of new listings and number of sales, it did actually follow what we would typically see from a real estate market calendar, with low inventory at the beginning of the year, going up into the spring market. New listings and sales both went up, and then down again in the summertime, back up in the fall, and then a pretty sharp decline heading into the winter months. That is, if you were to take a picture of what a real estate market would look like from year to year, that's typically what we see from the real estate market. So what I want to do now is, as we're looking at our screen, I just want to take a look into the sales price again, but with regards to more of a macro perspective. So I've gone to the maximum time frame that we've been keeping track of these stats, which is January 2012. I just want us to look at how overall the market has continued to increase, again seeing a huge spike in February of 2022, and actually we had a blip in 2024 where there must have been some sales that really peaked the purchase price. But as we go down to where we've kind of ended up in the market all the way down November of 2025 at 620,000, that market price, we'd have to go back quite a ways to even get back down to where that number, December of 2020, to where we were even at or sniffing at those kind of numbers, which is what has been happening in the market. We have seen things come back down to 2020 prices, 2018 prices in some areas. But in West Lincoln, we can see here based off of the data that we're looking at, the market has adjusted so much so that we're back to where we were 5 years ago, if we're looking just apples to apples here. So let's talk about months of supply now. Again, we're looking at overall trends here, but January and February of 2022 were our peak months for sellers. And we can see here based off the data that we have 0.4 months of inventory, such a low number. And since then we've had highs and lows. Normally the lows are gonna always be in the springtime, which is what we see here. March again, down to the low, again over to here, February, a little earlier in 2025. But that days on market has slowly crept up. Again, another indicator that buyers have more time to purchase homes. There's more selection available, which just brings those overall numbers higher. I have my months of inventory numbers actually a little bit higher than this graph does. But again, just seeing the overall trend, days on market has been trending up, which means it's even more important than ever for sellers that we make sure the price point is exactly where it needs to be in order to sell your home, because we're looking now with such a high amount of inventory, we're looking now to days on market, as we can even see on the screen here. Let's go average. At least 45 days to sell is on average. So we're looking over a month to sell. And if you're priced incorrectly, that number is going to be even higher. We see months of inventory all the way up to 93, up to 99 in December of last year. So pricing has become extremely important for sellers, but for buyers, it's great news that there's so much available. Things are taking longer to sell, and there's some really good opportunities in the market as we look at these stats and just see that the leverage has switched from sellers over to buyers. So I want to bring in West Lincoln into the overall picture as we look at the Niagara market as a whole. So if we're looking here, we're going to go to sales price. Niagara is going to give a much better indicator as to where the overall market is because it's based off of a larger amount of data. So as we look here, we'll go back right to the beginning of January, but we've seen Niagara's pricing was actually a little bit higher than West Lincoln's, which is abnormal in January. But just with more sales, we're going to see more of a market trend. So as we go into April, that's the height of the spring market again. And West Lincoln was a little further behind. In May, they had their peak. But since that April time frame, Niagara and West Lincoln have both seen that steady decline in terms of the median sale price, leading all the way down to that low that we see in November for both West Lincoln and Niagara, which just shows that the market has been trending downwards for the past 6 to 8 months, and is unless December's trend of slightly more sales and an increase in sale price, unless that's a trend that's going to continue into January, I think we'll see more of a quieter Q1 to 2026, as we just anticipate that homes will still take long to sell, and the overall market won't be, it'll be more dormant than in the spring market where things will be more active. As we looked at all this data, I always believe that numbers are going to tell a story as to how a year went with regards to real estate, and there's always going to be a trend that we can point to. And I think that we really saw at the midway point of the year that things started to turn, where people realized both mentally and physically in their regular life that life just got really expensive, that their money is being put to a lot of different things as it pertains to inflation, and that really affected the real estate market, because we've actually seen interest rates come down in that 6-month span from middle of 2025 to end of 2025, but at the same time the market also decreased. And I think that this presents a really amazing opportunity for buyers in 2026, especially for quarter one, but we'll see how that goes when we get to the spring market. But when we see that there's lower interest rates, but that we've also seen a decline in prices and an increase in buyer negotiating power, I think that those three things are lined up perfectly for buyers right now. That for first-time buyers, it's a great opportunity to get into the market, knowing that interest rates are at a point where they're accessible and they're very favorable for buyers, but also you can go out and get a house with everything that you want for a good deal, and you don't have to fight with other buyers for it. So I think that quarter one is a great opportunity for buyers to get into the market. And for sellers, those that are willing to price aggressively, to potentially take a hit, but then to go and sell first and then go and buy, there's also a lot of power in that as well. There's a very good market right now for people that own a townhome that are looking to make a move up to a detached home. That price point and that difference between those two is actually very small right now. That if you can make the sale of your townhome and then go in aggressively on a detached home, either in Niagara, somewhere in Niagara or in West Lincoln, that's a great opportunity right now at the beginning of 2026 to make that change, make that happen, make that life move. And if you're looking to move in from the area into West Lincoln, there's definite opportunity for both townhomes and for detached homes. And there's still great value in comparison to other areas of Niagara North in Lincoln and Grimsby. You still get easy access to Hamilton while maintaining a lower price point because of that slight commute difference to the QEW. Again, if you're interested in the content that's being provided here on this channel, feel free to like and subscribe, and be sure to keep your eyes out for more videos that are going to be coming your way.